Hello my dear stitchy friends! My name is Marie and welcome to the 6th episode of my Flosstube where we talk about cross stitch. It's Monday 9th of May 2022 here in Barry in South Wales in the UK, and I am so pleased to have you here. If you're new here, this channel is all about cross stitching. I hope you get inspired, I hope you get enabled and I hope you follow along for the journey. And if you're returning, I am ever so grateful for having you here, for having you return, and for having you support my little channel. What are we going to talk about today? So as usual, I will start with comments from last video, and because there was a giveaway, I will announce who is the lucky 1000 subscribers celebration giveaway winner. I will do a couple of Flosstube shoutouts. I will update you on my Stitch Beatles with Marie first Maynia weekend start. I will show you an unplanned start that I started last week, a beautiful one. I will show you what other whips have I worked on. Then I'll show you some haul and some stitchy plans for next week. So let's crack on. I wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody who's commented on my last video. I have asked you whether you can comment something including a word kindness so that I can choose a winner for this chart, Kind Words Never Die. And you know that I said I will also kit this project up, so whoever is the lucky winner will get a whole kit. And the idea was that the comments will all be about kindness, and honestly I've spent this afternoon going through the comments and answering them, and it is literally the nicest place ever to be. You have shared so many wonderful examples of kindness, from giving a quilt to a Vietnam veteran, to serving the homeless, to maybe serving food as a charity, to being given food when you were on chemotherapy. It was very touching and very uplifting. You know, in this day and age, in this world that we live in, things can seem very dark, and reading your comments was a lovely reminder that there is so much good around us. So I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing so much goodness and kindness with me. Now is a good time to announce who has won the giveaway. So the rules were that it must be a subscriber, like, comment, not use any giveaway word or whatever you, and use kindness in the comment. And it is my pleasure to announce that a channel named Sew, Make and Create, here's their comment, won the giveaway. I'm not sure of their name. So please do get in touch with me via my email address or Instagram. I'll put the details in the description below. I will need your postal address, please, so that I can send you the giveaway prize. And the commenter is a nurse and recently had to take a mental health break, and has shared with me how much the kindness of their colleagues meant after returning back from the break, and you know, just what a difference it makes. And I am so grateful for your service as a nurse. I think it's an incredibly tough job. My sister-in-law is a nurse, and you know, I am under no illusion that I could never do this. I have so much gratitude and sort of I take a lot of inspiration from you for doing this for all of us. So thank you ever so much. I will be so glad to be sending this your way, and I hope it brightens your day just as much as your comment did mine. Then in the last video I have shared 10% discount for these Nerge hoops. And I wanted to thank everybody who shared their experience with Nerge hoops after they've ordered, or thanking for the discount or whatever you. When I share something, especially nowadays when, you know, things are getting pricier and it, you know, the world is in a bit of a tough spot. I was really nervous to share something that you're gonna go and, you know, maybe spend money on it. And I was thinking, oh my god, what if people don't like it? And literally I got so many people telling me how they love their Nerge hoops, and I was just so grateful that you shared that with me and that you liked it, and that your experience with Nerge hoops was exactly the same as mine, that you love it. I was overjoyed. Honestly, if there's anybody from the UK watching and hasn't watched the previous video, I'm gonna add the discount code directly on Nerge website in the description box below. There is a 10% discount code valid for whenever, so whoever has ordered and maybe wants to go back, this code will simply be valid for I don't want to say indefinitely, but not a definite date at this very moment, or that at least I haven't been told it. And I wanted to say that Jessie Remba has shared in the comments that Nerge hoops are available in the US via Amazon Prime. I'm saying this because Nerge, the manufacturer, is not shipping from their website internationally. It's just UK sort of domestic shipping. So in the US, it's available via Amazon Prime and at Joann's, but it's not called Nerge hoops, which is the brand of it. It's called Premium hoops. So maybe have a search around your, you know, sort of favorite needlework shop or needlework supply sort of chain or whatever you, for square hoops or something, you know, if you wanna give it a try. They really are the best. You know, I hear people only raving about them. And just make sure that here on the top it says Nerge. It's just that there's a lot of knockoffs on the market. Tried it, didn't work out. So I would really highly recommend, should you want to try the square plastic hoop, Nerge is definitely something I can highly recommend. Oh, and I forgot to point out, a couple of people did say to me after they've tried it that it holds excellently in lower frame, because it's sort of finishes here, so there's quite a good grip, and it's very flat, so it's really nice to sort of catch it in. And behind me there is a sort of very simple sort of desk holder, desk frame holder, or how should I call it? And I stopped using it because when I got my Q-snaps, it just wouldn't fit. So the wooden mechanism wouldn't be wide enough to fit it. It has absolutely no issue with the Nerge hoop because it's quite thin. Well, unfortunately, I got a lowery stand myself in the meanwhile, isn't it? So unfortunately, I love my lowery stand. So this one is a bit forgotten, but it's probably going to be good for traveling or something like that, or as a spare. And last time I was, you know, sort of feeling desperate about stitching on plastic canvas. I am going to show you my progress on Dimension Santa ahead of my, you know, ahead of this being on the agenda with the whips. And I said it was extremely difficult, that when I end my threads, it's extremely difficult to end them behind the existing stitches. And what Penny Richardson commented, thank you Penny, I didn't think about that, although I know about it. Of course, Penny recommended a waist knot. So basically it means to finish, to whoever doesn't know it, to finish the thread by sort of, well, it's not a knot, isn't it? That's a knot to start. When you finish it, you can't knot it, but you sort of finish it somewhere, then you sort of make sure that you pierce it back up again, bring it up again on the top of the canvas, and you know, sort of far enough from where you've ended, and then you sort of hold it there somehow, maybe like a nice wonder clip, just holding these waist away threads. And naturally, as you progress your stitching, you will stitch over it, which is going to hold it in place sufficiently. Don't know why I didn't think about that. Thank you so much, Penny. I will definitely, I've got a couple more these in stash, not exactly these, but dimensions on plastic canvas, so I will definitely need to do this. It got to a point where I literally have, you know, I couldn't sort of push it through, and the other end of the needle has sort of pushed into my, I'm not gonna even say it because it's horrid. It was horrid. I have completely ruined my my fingers, so I couldn't finish it. I wanted for this to be finished, but I had to stop. I had to start stitching on something that is a bit gentler and nicer. It's always a good, you know, a good reason to have a new start, isn't there? So that's for the comments. Again, thank you ever so much to everybody who took time to share some lovely comments with me. I much appreciate it. Now on to shout outs. Last time I said that I was recommended Ryan's, aka Riri McGuy, Flosstube channel, based on me asking whether there are any good pack for retreat videos. And I said that my plan is to binge watch Ryan's channel last week, and so I did. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, the whole channel in one day, and it was bloody brilliant. I mean, just the retreat packing video alone, I mean, it's not just retreat packing. Ryan is sharing this little sort of cigar, oh, obviously there are no cigars, tin that is full of just this wonderful cross-stitch kit, like your best friend, full of, you know, the goodies that you might ever need, that are not to be taken just to a retreat. It's just to be in your stitchy equipment available at home at all times. I really loved it, and I watched the whole sort of normal Flosstube episodes, apart from this packing, and Ryan is incredible. He has studied fashion design, and his finishes are extremely just beautiful. Like he has made this letter out of a you know, a tea bag, out of a fancy French tea. I mean, so creative it is, and the way he sort of speaks about needlework shows the absolute appreciation of needlework. So if by any chance there's somebody who hasn't started watching Ryan, I would wholeheartedly recommend his channel, because he really is wonderful. And I wanted to recommend somebody who is absolutely, you know, not new or new to me Flosstubers, just one of those people that I just wanted to say that, you know, this is not me wanting to look like cool or Star Trek-y. It's just that I've got this fancy microphone, and I have zero idea how to make it work on my phone. It just thinks it's headphones. I've been trying for a long time and it's not working out, so I'm using this as my microphone. Apologies. So back to my recommendation. So this Flosstuber is not new to me. She is not new to Flosstube. She is one of those people that I just always think like everybody knows her, but I wanted to give her a shout out on my small humble channel anyways. Her name is Kaylee Cross-Stitch. She is an American stitcher. She is a teacher, and she's been running her Flosstube for about 1.5 years, and she is an incredibly talented musician. I mean, I love her singing and her playing instruments. I've played accordion for more than 10 years myself, and piano, and I come from a musical family, so to me, hearing music and singing is just, wonderful. I love her Flosstube opening sort of song. It's just so melodic. It's beautiful, and you might know her pieces from channels like Stitchman Darcy or Stitchilonka. Sometimes it's creative, sometimes it's hilarious. It's like she's wonderful musically, and she's also, obviously wonderful stitcher. She used to do mainly sort of big heaven and earth designs, the BAPs, the big ass projects. But now she has gone sort of the complete opposite, and she's focusing on tiny stitching, the 56 count, and lately she's sort of picked up some, not like it's Zweigart fabric, just some fabric that was even weave, that is even higher than 56 count. It's mental, it's fantastic, like it's wow. I don't understand how she can do this, tiny stitching, but it's wonderful to behold. She does very, very frequent stitch with me videos, which I, love to watch. It's like when you don't have a stitching buddy, you have somebody to sort of stitch and chat with you, and it's just really pleasant. And she is currently giving away tiny stitching kits, and I believe that there might be some. She's got a cat, Susie B. I hope I'm saying that right, Susie B. Right, and she has these floss drops that are beautiful with Susie, so I think they might be part of the pack. So I just wanted to sort of shout Kaylee out, because I've been watching her ever since I started watching Flosstube. She was one of the first people I found through Laura Gur's channel, which Laura Gur was probably one of the first other Flosstubers she's recommended. So yeah, I've been watching Kaylee for a long time, and she's really fantastic to watch. So go check her out, follow her along on her tiny stitching journey and her massive hates journey and her singing. And now on to stitching update. So, my Maynia plans, I've been talking about it for the past 2 episodes, and now it's time to see what have I actually managed to stitch. So my first weekend of May, I stitched on Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Desings. It is part of the Stitch Beatles with Marie hashtag, which I am so grateful that so many of you have joined. I've had people on or in the comments saying that they will join here on YouTube. I've had people tagging their stitching over on Instagram, and it is just wonderful to see that people are joining on this Stitch Beatles, and maybe they're humming 1 or 2 Beatles songs along with it. I was stitching on Strawberry Fields on Friday, which was my start day. Saturday and Sunday I didn't stitch on anything else. This was exclusively sort of what I stitched on. And where did I get? I have stitched just shy of 2,000 stitches. I'm pretty chuffed with it. I have decided to stitch this on 40 count Saltbush Fox and Rabbit fabric. The code for was Weeks Dye Works Confederate Grey. I believe it was 32 count, but I looked at the fabric, and I've spoken about Weeks Dye Works fabric last week, and I've looked at the fabric properly, and it was again full of love. I didn't really, maybe it's just because I'm a bit now disappointed in the fabric that I didn't feel like using it, and I'm gonna put it in my stash and happily stitch on it in a year's time. But I was just a bit disappointed with Weeks Dye Works fabric, so I decided to stitch this on fabric that never disappoints me, and that is Fox and Rabbit, and indeed it is beautiful. And actually when I've put the Saltbush next to the Confederate Grey, it was almost an exact match. It was a really, really, really good, extremely good substitution. So yeah, so here's my start. I am prepared to start on Friday to do my second May start, which will be the Pet All the Dogs by Teresa Kogut. As you can see, I'm trying not to do the mad crinkle party like I did last time. I do apologize for that, by the way. So I have, this was the chat last week. This was the disappointing Week Style Works fabric, and what I did, I ordered a nice fat quarter. I think it was from Peakside Needleworks. Yes, I've got a fat quarter of 40 count flannel flowers by Fox and Rabbit. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous linen. This is how it goes against the colors that I've got prepared. You can see that they are all quite muted, so they will look much better on the lighter fabric. And what I'm doing with these is that I'm challenging myself to stitch in hand. So if I didn't stitch in hand, I don't think I would ever make such a progress in 3 days. So yeah, I'm stitching in hand wherever I can, and samplers are generally quite easy for me to, or easier to stitch with me in hand than say full coverage. That's not an easy thing for me to stitch in hand. Right, so that was the Pet All the Dogs. That is prepared for this Friday, and next Friday it will be time to start on Seeking Refuge by the Scarlett House. I've got it somewhere hanging about in my stash, but I just wanted to say that Angi from the Tiny House Stitcher is going to be stitching this as well, and we came up with a very original hashtag if anybody wanted to join us, and that is Seeking Refuge Cell. I wanted to sort of come up with something funny and whatever, because Emma at Emma X Stitching and Joe at Belushi Stitches, they always come up with the most hilarious and original hashtags, and it's so wonderful. But you know what, I think that anything that I came up with was a bit too long, a bit too clunky, not easy to use, and in the end of the day, Seeking Refuge Cell is going to be easy to remember, easy to use on Instagram or on Flosstube. So it is an existing cell, but it's not particularly busy. It's not like, I don't feel like we've hijacked it from somebody who is actively running it right now. It was established some time ago, and there are sort of sporadic posts going on there. So I hope nobody's going to be upset that we're going to sort of, you know, join in on that sort of. So anybody who would like to start Seeking Refuge, please do join, because it is such a lovely, lovely pattern, isn't it? And I can't wait to stitch it. On to whips and a new start. So let's start with the whip. I didn't draw a Pomodoro last week because I said I would like to, because I'm starting 4/5 new starts this month. I hope that's it. I'd like to sort of finish something as well. So I was focusing on projects that are the closest to finish, as close as finish as possible. And that's where I finished stitching on the Love Snow Globe ornament. This is how it's going to look like when it's finished. This is how far I got. I didn't count the stitches on this. It was, I think, good sort of 300 stitches on the bottom and somewhere here. So that's one that I was working on, and a second one was, well, that's exactly not close to a finish at all, but I just fancied taking it out, honestly. It's my beloved Dimensions Japanese Garden. I just put in 300 stitches on, I think Wednesday it was. I just wanted to, it was calling to me. I'd like to sort of work on this a little bit more regularly, to maybe do it, have some weekly target or something like that, because I do like my my full coverage dimensions. I think they're wonderful. So although I love my samplers, I also am not giving up on my dimensions. One day I'll show you my stash. I'll come clean. So that was 300 stitches, and then new start. So this is something that if you follow me on Instagram you know about already. When Caroline at Evertoads and Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery have announced working together, I knew that was going to be something absolutely epic and that I'm not going to be able to resist, and I was very right. I know myself all too well. So Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery has released, I think it's a new pattern especially for this. That's the way I understand it. It's called Books from Bernhard's Book. This is how the chart sort of looks like, and this is where I got. I was stitching on it on Wednesday and Thursday, and I have stitched approximately 1400 stitches. I'm stitching it on 40 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart, which is quickly becoming my favorite or one of my favorites apart from Fox and Rabbit fabrics to stitch on. I am stitching this in hand again, and it definitely is so much quicker than sort of stitching in a hoop. But like I said, like this sort of design, I'm really happy to do it, to stitch it in hand, samplers as well, because usually you get a good sort of amount of stitching that you can do. But when it's about a design like this, I would absolutely not do it in hand. It's just, I don't know, it's me. I know that people do it in hand, but it's not something that I find easy. I find it easy to do it in a hoop. And sorry, I should have mentioned that this is 1/2 stitched with Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks, and I will be thinking whether on the central motif, sort of vase with flowers, whether I'm going to do some of the flower, oh sorry, itchy nose, Flosstube itchy nose, whether I'm going to do some of the accents in terracotta red color by Weeks Dye Works. And this is probably something I should have started with. This pattern is really special because it's for charity. So I have paid €10 for it on www.modernfolkembroidery.com, and half of the proceeds Jacob is donating to a course that Caroline's husband, Caroline at Evertoads, Caroline's husband is running a New York City marathon for. So Caroline's husband is running the marathon in memory of his mum who passed away from brain aneurysm, and he is running this for the Brain Aneurysm Foundation, and Jacob is donating 50% of the proceeds towards this course. So if you are in any way inclined to charity, if maybe this charity means something personally to you, or if you just like to stitch for a good cause, this is definitely a sort of good good way to go about it. And as usual, you know, this chart is so beautiful. Jacob does wonderful things, and the stitching it is positively therapeutic, so I would 100% recommend it. And as usual, all my charts are listed in the description below, and where I can I will list directly where I purchased it. Right, on to haul, shall we? Nothing like a nice cup of tea. For the longest time, I have been resisting, let's call it, resisting buying project bags, because I knew that once I've done that, it will be completely falling down the rabbit hole. And I was right. And last week I have sort of broken the spell, and I have ordered my first cross stitch project bags, and I'm doomed, I'm lost, and that's it. I've been following Ness Craft Room on Instagram. I will link her details down below. She's Ness Craft Room on Instagram and on Etsy. And she has posted her sort of bank holiday weekend stock, how do you call it, stock publish on Etsy, and I couldn't resist. So I'm going to show you the 3 project bags that I got for myself. The first is where I keep my strawberry fields forever. It's probably because it sort of reminds me a little bit of Strawberry Thief. This it's not really, but it just reminds me of it, so I thought it was a good fit. The bag has got a little charm that says "Made with Love." It's really well made. It's got this vinyl front, which is, you know, really nice, and I just love it. I just love them. So that's the first one. This one is a second one. That's where I keep my Have Courage by Cottage Garden samplings. Can you see these birds and the flowers? You know, I see flowers and that's it. You know, I must have it. I want to stitch everything with flowers. Like if I see a parade of patterns and there's one with flowers, I want that one. So I went for all the beautiful flowery patterns, of which Ness has got plenty, so they're wonderful. Now this one contains a little bit more, so let me just cheekily take it away and show you the last bag. There we go. Isn't it beautiful? Such beautiful sort of vibrant, wonderful colours. I'm loving it. I would 100% recommend Ness. Her shipping was, I think it took about 3 days or 3 or 4 days from the time I ordered for them to arrive at my door via Royal Mail. You know, wonderful quality. I really like the way they're made, and you know, they're handmade and by a UK small business, so what's not to like? I've also ordered project bags from my very good friend Molly Klein from the US, and I will show you them once they've arrived. And those for now are, you know, that's it for project bags. That's it, Marie. And I'm going to show you new patterns that I got. Well, because I had to get my fabric for Pet All the Dogs. Now, obviously, I couldn't let the fabric travel alone, right? Everybody knows that. So I've had to order some patterns that were listed. I think they were all new, or at least they popped up at me in the new section. And I also had to get the bear from the Year in the Woods from the lovely Create Nostalgia. And I also put a little bit more, just a couple more patterns in the basket. So let me show you what I got. The first one is the bear. Isn't he so cute? I love it. He's just like, you know, chilling it, enjoying his life. I can't wait to start stitching on it. June is the month. June is the month when we start stitching on, when I start stitching on A Year in the Woods. If somebody's still waiting to start, feel free to prepare yourself for June to start all of these in June with me. Probably not all, but some of them. Then I have been wanting to get some Quaker pattern. So I'm in love with this Quaker sampling. Isn't it just absolutely gorgeous? It's by With My Needle, and I love it. I'm sure I've seen plenty of people do this before. It's just so beautiful. I just, you know, I keep on imagining how beautiful it will look on 40 count and how beautiful it will be to stitch this. I am almost sort of thinking that I might wait for next year after I've come back from Stitch North, where I will buy all the Leo and Roxy Floss and some beautiful red, some beautiful sort of burgundy to stitch this with. It will be so pretty. And then I have been wanting to get some Prairie Schooler, which I have none in my stash yet, and I decided to get these two. So the first one is Village Green. I come from a very small village in the Pilsen region in the west of Czech Republic, and this is exactly how my grandparents' small holding sort of looked like. There was always chickens and yeah, sort of you know, the sort of villagey small holding vibe that really speaks to me. That is such a memory of childhood for me. So I'm loving it. And I even remember my granny used to how do you call it? How is the word? Rear small chickens, like the tiny chickens that were in the kitchen, and we were feeding them, and they were just like chirping away. Yep, I'm loving it. When I stitch it, I will think of my grandma and granddad. And this one, number 50, and it's the Prairie Seasons. I am one of them stitchers who really like their seasonal stitches. They really speak to me. I haven't much to show for it yet, but I will catch up. I will try to catch up my stitching with the tempo that I order this. Yeah, they are lovely. They are lovely. So these were from Create Nostalgia, and now these are from Pigside Needleworks. So that is my Flannel Flowers Fox and Rabbit 40 count fabric. And then I almost lost hope that I will get my hands on it. I thought it was sold out absolutely everywhere, and suddenly, what I don't see, Pigside Needleworks stocking a Tisket to Tasket. So, I mean, everybody knows I couldn't have left it there, isn't it? This gorgeous market release from Rosewood Manor. It's just absolutely beautiful. And what I didn't realize when I flipped through the book is that there is a couple of, I just thought that it was this design, but there is a couple more sort of smalls and variations that you can do, which I think that are absolutely beautiful. Oh, I can't wait, honestly, cannot. 40 count it is, I think, unless I try even smaller by then. I'm not doing 56. And then when I saw this, I had to have it like now, because, you know, I've frequently mentioned that I'm Czech. I come from Czech Republic, and look what I saw on Pigside Needleworks. So this is 1889 Alphabets, adapted from a Czech sampler by Needlework Press, and this is signed Kulhanková M. That's Kulhanková is a surname. M, you know, is her name. I don't think we know her name. It's just a one-pager. There is nothing about Miss or Mrs. Kulhanková from 1889, which is such a shame. I would have absolutely loved to know something more about her. I will try to sort of Google whether there's anything more about this, whether I can find something in, you know, in Czech on the internet to see whether research will lead me somewhere, but in any case, I'm loving this. And last week I've shown you these, and you know, it is only sort of 2.1 inches wide when it's on 40 count. When it's on 30 count, it's 2.63. The height of this, and this is a bit higher, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, whether I'm just going to put it in the middle and then I'll leave sort of some quite a bit of fabric around it. I will have to have a think about what, you know, how to mount it on the spool when it's just 2 inches, when this is about I think we said 4. Maybe it won't be that bad. It's about maybe 3.5 inches. I'll see, to sort of center it somehow. So I'm so excited about this, because I haven't really seen any Czech samplers yet. And I have to look into it a bit more, I guess. And I really love this. A nice alphabet spool mounted sampler. And the last one is a pattern that I've been eyeing for a long time, and it is the We Will Always Remember. It is very it is a good time for this chart. How to say it? I don't know what I want to say. Well, what I want to say is that this past weekend on Sunday, in Pilsen, there was a Convoy of Liberty, just as is there every year since the communism fell. That is because the western part of Czech Republic, or then Czechoslovakia, in 1945 was actually liberated by the American army, as opposed to the plundering, raping Russians that unfortunately liberated the east of Czechoslovakia. And so the Americans, led by General George Patton, have liberated Pilsen and the sort of the whole west of Czechoslovakia, and it is very, very, very keenly remembered. Now, what happened during the communist times is that obviously the history was rewritten by the Russians, and nobody was allowed to say that the American army liberated part of Czechoslovakia, and whoever said that was a traitor, and it was basically like a criminal offense to say that. So you know, it was a big no-no to say that the American army has liberated that part, our part of the country. And you know, immediately after 1989, when the regime fell in Czechoslovakia, the first thing that sort of was reinstated was the correct history. And throughout the years of communism, America has been the symbol of freedom and all the good values and all the good things. And you know, straight away from 1990, these sort of Convoy of Liberty celebrations have been held in Pilsen, in the center of Pilsen, around May, always on the weekend, around sort of May 8th or 9th. And that is sort of my childhood memory. So there's always been a convoy of tanks and sort of the old sort of jeeps and, you know, sort of military vehicles, and there were a lot of veterans, and especially in the beginning of the 90s, obviously a lot of the veterans were still alive back then. So I remember even in our little village, which is about 30 kilometers from Pilsen, the veterans came to visit, and we sort of had a celebration for them, and it's you know, it's just such a wonderful memory. So there's a lot of gratitude towards America in our part of the world. because of the liberation. And it's just such a symbol, you know, in communist times. If somebody owned a vinyl record of an American band or something, it was like, it was, you know, so bad, like you could get into proper trouble for it, but people were doing it because it was such an act of defiance. So yeah, so I guess I'm just saying it so that I explain I will not be altering the American flag or the eagles, because for me a lot of the end of war is in fact connected to the celebration of the liberation by American army in our part of the world, in our city. And this year there is actually still 3 veterans from the US who were able to fly over and attend the freedom celebrations, which is absolutely incredible. They're 97, 98 years old, and they flew over to celebrate the end of war. And I guess now more than ever it is so important to remember the price that freedom has cost. And I, you know, pray for peace, and yeah, that's all I can say. I will insert a couple of pictures from the celebrations just to show that, you know, there are places in this world where freedom is very celebrated, because for us freedom is you know, we didn't lose our freedom last in 1945. We first gained our actual freedom in 1989, end of. So, you know, for us, losing freedom is a very recent event, or sorry, gaining freedom is a very recent event. And I just wish that every nation in this world would be left to decide their own fate. And, you know, I will repeat the mantra of pray for Ukraine, pray for peace, pray for this world. I hope you liked the little slideshow that I've prepared. I have missed the celebrations, which is terribly sad, but I am hoping that next year travel will be a little bit easier, and we will be able to get there and to celebrate with the rest of the region. Now, before I end this video, I just wanted to say that goal for next week, I'm not going to be drawing my Pomodoro cross stitch. I am going to try to finish the snow globe, and I am going to try to finish the village ornament, Christmas village ornament, so that I can tick these off and take them off my whip list. And I will be starting the Pet All the Dogs on Friday as my second start of May. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I'm going to tell you next week. I am going to try to post every Monday. I was trying to aim for Sunday, but you know, it's not a good day for me. So I'm hoping to sort of start sticking to the Monday schedule. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely stitchy week, and remember to enjoy your projects one stitch at a time. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Bye.